Keelah, everyone. Welcome back to Soul Mechanics and to the Reality Checks course with the beautiful and most amazing Sweetie Cheeks. The most amazing Sweetie Cheeks. So, a few updates real quick before we begin. One, we are not doing the promised response to an atheist YouTuber video yet because we're actually going to do a kind of a segue response to the recent events concerning transgender community and our reps. Again, I hate to drag on this, but this is a very important issue, and we happen to have an event that steps in line with that. Now, this is not directly related to it, but it actually is directly related to it. We're going to try and point out how throughout the course of this video. But this video is regarding, we're going to be responding to one of Joe Rogan's podcasts, Joe Rogan Experience, number 1323, Andy Ngo.
No, I think it's just no.
Andy Ngo. This is a reporter, I guess, who got hurt pretty bad by some, I don't know what you call them. They seem like, they're called Antifa, anti-fascists. Oh, before we go forward, we're using a new camera here with a new, hopefully this is going to take care of our problems concerning space and time. We're going to use Sweetie Cheeks' telephone with a bitchin' SD card that's enormous, and we're restricted only in the time limit for the actual camera itself, wherein it's going to, it'll stop us at roundabouts 4.19 gigs. So probably if I stretch it, maybe 35 minutes tops.
That's not bad.
But we can always continue on. But anyways, I guess this guy got beat up pretty bad by some...
Like an angry mob.
Yeah, I'll let you tell them. They're called Antifa. Tell them what you know about it.
Basically, the group refer to themselves as anti-fascists, and I feel like people kind of know about it. They've been out in the public discourse for a few years now, and I guess Portland, Oregon is like there's a lot of stuff going down there now.
Portland's really...
I've never been there. I don't really know much about the place. I listened to this podcast the other day.
It's a fascinating place.
And it is fascinating, the story of this poor man and other things that are happening there. But it was basically an angry mob protesting two other events. So there's just protesters on top of protesters on top of protesters, all kind of, just converging on this one day. And this man is I don't know if he's a journalist, reporter. He writes articles for certain newspapers and subscriptions, and he just seems like was in the wrong place at the wrong time. But people were, I think, targeting him specifically for his material and articles that he'd written.
We don't know much about this guy. We're going to look into it throughout the course of the video. We're going to investigate this guy particularly. So we don't know if he's like at fault for anything or if there's any reason these people would have jumped him. But it's not really the point. It's the fact that he got jumped is the point. And he got hurt pretty bad. So
brain hemorrhage.
Yeah, we don't know. He's gonna.
Or so he says.
Yeah. We're gonna set it up to where he's setting the context for the incident in question. I should like to note though, as it comes to mind, is that first thing, we have anti-Antifa people in play now who are anti, and these people call themselves anti-fascists, which that's kind of a really broad stroke sort of thing that
I'd be interested of the origin of this
that's
group
something
where it came from.
We'll be launching a thorough investigation into this Antifa and into this guy, obviously not throughout the course of this particular video, but ongoing. And from what I can tell, these are hostile activists for the most part, which nowadays we call those terrorists. I should like just to note that much before we begin. These people are effectively terrorists. So.
Well, I think a majority of the people that would consider themselves to be in this group are probably, just innocently enough wanting to speak out against certain things that they think are happening in the country, which is great. I think that's fantastic. If you have a voice and you use it, that's fantastic. But I think there's a small fringe, just like anything else. The extremists, kind of get in there and kind of take over, and that becomes the public.
Right. But here's the thing.
What the public sees.
Exactly, and that's what the public sees. You are what you express yourself as being. You are your actions. Unfortunately, in the case of organizations such as this, if they're doing things like this, if they express themselves as terrorists and you express yourself as one of them, you are effectively expressing yourself as a terrorist by extension. So I just personally, I would warn against getting involved in organizations such as this if they're going to be doing things of this nature.
I think he mentions at one point that the Department of Homeland Security deemed some of the actions of this group to be domestic terrorism, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But then again, that all, you got to take all that with a grain of salt too, because do you remember years ago when ICP fans, the Juggalos, they were considered a gang by the government, the FBI or whatever, and
that turned out to be a scam.
I am a proud fan of ICP. I freaking love ICP. I think that they're great. I really got into them in like high school.
Yeah, she made me listen to them all the time.
It's awful. It really is. It's super bad. But you like GWAR, so give me a break.
Yeah,
anyway,
same
so the government jumps in and labels these people, and they're the fans of this musical. It's a rap duo. I mean, what kind of harm? And they're called gang members or whatever. And there was a big controversy at the time. It was years ago. So you got to take everything with a grain of salt. These definitions, these words that get thrown about terrorism and all that stuff.
That's what I'm trying to say.
You got to get the context of these things.
That's what I'm trying to say. The context in play is that if you're going to label yourself in this nature, then you have to be prepared to accept the responsibility
that comes along with
exactly.
That comes along with it.
You are associated, and
name,
it becomes your responsibility.
The name itself instills a certain feeling in different people all around the world. I mean,
it represents you.
Yeah, it kind of does.
These political labels that we're throwing around, again, coming back to the rhetoric and the semantics in play, like with the transgender community, this rhetoric and that they throw around. Rhetoric.
Rhetoric.
Yeah, I know that. My new advisor, our new operator, was bitching at me about that. I'm not properly pronouncing it.
Bro.
I love saying it like that, rhetoric. I think
it's rhetoric. Anyways.
Snazzy, it's dancy.
This has become an ideological battle at this point. I mean,
this political terminology and our fanaticism for it that we seem to have.
And tribalism too.
Exactly.
I mean, it's people glom on to things and it becomes a tribal thing and an ideological thing, which used to be just for like reserved for the realm of like religion and that kind of stuff, the ideology of your way of life or your religion.
Please note that these political standards are very, very
people follow
similar
them religiously.
Religion. They look kind of like a religion, don't they?
But context goes out the window because you can call yourself left or right or whatever the terms are, and it's like you can't be a part of that group unless you follow every single commandment of these
guidelines and standards.
Exactly. Like you can, for example, Joe Rogan. People call him like right wing all the time. The guy is super liberal. Like he's like, it seems crazy because it's crazy. Why? If you even listen to him talk for like 5 minutes, he's totally like I don't want to call him a Democrat. But he's super left. He's like,
I don't understand what left and right means in the political. I don't understand politics at all. I never bothered to. I never wanted to.
It's it's easy now because everything's split in two. Like a freaking, the tribalism has split everything in two, and so everything is very black and white.
Left is liberal and democratic. Mm-hmm. And right is what, like conservative and Republican?
Yep, absolutely. That's exactly what it is. And so people call him like a right-wing shill or whatever just because he's having open Mike's gonna cut us off in 5, 4, 3, 2.